Imagine this. Every 4 years, the entire planet agrees on one thing. 90 minutes can feel like a lifetime. A single pass can become a national memory. A single mistake can haunt a generation. And sometimes, one moment doesn't just decide a match. It rewrites football history. Today we're going on a time travel journey through 7 World Cup moments that changed the game forever. Not just what happened, but why it mattered, what it revealed, and how it still echoes in every tournament since. And, as you watch, ask yourself, if you could witness only one World Cup moment in person, which would it be? Moment 1. 1930. The World Cup is born. In 1930, there was no World Cup tradition. No, it's coming home. No global broadcast. No Instagram highlights. The idea itself was risky. Bring national teams together from different continents and crown a world champion. Uruguay hosted and only 13 teams made it. Because travel meant days on ships across oceans, not quick flights. Think about that. Players left their jobs, boarded boats, and vanished for weeks just to play football. The stadiums were loud, raw, and personal. The rules were still evolving, and the pressure felt different, because nobody knew if this would even happen again. Uruguay didn't just organize the tournament, they won it. And when they lifted that first trophy, something clicked for the world. Football didn't belong to one country, or one region. It belonged to everyone. That first World Cup created a ritual. Every 4 years nations would meet, not with weapons, but with a ball and pride. Moment 2. 1950. The Maracanazo. The day Brazil went silent. Now fast forward to 1950. Brazil hosts the World Cup, and everything points to a home victory. The stage is the Maracanã in Rio, one of the most intimidating arenas ever. A massive crowd fills it, and the atmosphere feels unstoppable. Brazil doesn't even need to win the final match. They only need a draw against Uruguay. A draw, at home, with the entire nation ready to celebrate. Brazil scores first. The stadium explodes. You can almost feel the trophy being polished in the background, but Uruguay doesn't collapse. Instead they grow. They start to press, to take risks, to act like a team that refuses to accept the script. Uruguay equalizes, and suddenly the crowd isn't roaring, it's holding its breath. Then it happens. Uruguay scores again, 2-1, and the Maracanã, packed with people, turns into something terrifying: silence. The upset became known as the Maracanazo, but it wasn't just a shock result. It reshaped Brazil's relationship with football, how victory felt like destiny, and how defeat could feel like tragedy. It's one of the clearest reminders that in the World Cup, history doesn't care about expectations. Moment 3, 1958. A 17-year-old named Pelé changes what's possible. 8 years after that heartbreak, the world meets a teenager who looks like he's playing a different sport. 1958, Sweden hosts. Brazil arrives with talent, and with a young player who at first is almost a mystery. Pelé. He's 17 years old. In most countries, you can barely vote at 17. But Pelé plays with the calm of someone who already knows the ending. He dribbles like the ball is attached to him. He finishes like chances are guaranteed. And the world watches, confused, like, is this allowed? Brazil reaches the final against Sweden. Pelé scores. And not a simple goal. He controls, lifts, turns, and finishes with confidence that feels unreal for his age. Brazil wins the World Cup, and Pelé becomes more than a player. He becomes a symbol, a sign that football could be art, joy, imagination, and from that moment, every World Cup would be searching for the next Pelé, the young star who arrives and changes the atmosphere of an entire tournament. Moment 4. 1966. The goal that still starts arguments. 1966. England hosts. The final is England versus West Germany, and it becomes one of the most debated finals in football history, because of one moment that still divides opinions. In extra time, the score is tight and the tension is brutal. England attacks, Jeff Hurst shoots, the ball hits the crossbar, bounces down near the line and comes out. Chaos. Players look at the referee, the stadium waits. Was it a goal? Did it cross the line? The officials decide. Goal. England goes on to win, taking their first and so far only World Cup title. But here's the thing. That single bounce became a permanent question mark. It's one of the reasons football later embraced technology. Because the World Cup showed the world something uncomfortable. Sometimes the biggest match on earth can be decided by a moment too fast for human eyes. That controversy still lives on today, in debates, documentaries, and every time we talk about fairness in football. Moment 5, 1970. Brazil's perfect team makes the World Cup beautiful. If you ask many fans to name the most beautiful World Cup, they say 1970. Mexico hosts. The tournament is vibrant, sunlight, color, rhythm, and then Brazil arrives with a team that feels like a dream. Pelé is there again. But now, he's not the teenager. He's the master. Around him, players who pass like they can read each other's thoughts. Brazil plays with elegance, but also with power. Like a team that enjoys winning and wants you to enjoy watching them do it. They reach the final against Italy, and then comes one of the most iconic goals in World Cup history. A long sequence of passes that moves like a wave, smooth, quick, confident. It ends with Carlos Alberto arriving at the perfect moment, striking the ball with absolute authority. It's not just a goal, it's a statement. Football can be teamwork, timing, and beauty, at the highest level. Brazil wins. And the 1970 team becomes a reference point. Whenever someone says, the beautiful game, this is the footage people remember. It's the World Cup at its most poetic. Moment 6, 1986. Maradona, genius, chaos, and a match that became mythology. 1986 in Mexico gives us one of the most famous single matches ever, Argentina versus England. But this wasn't just football. The tension between the countries was real, political, emotional. And at the center of it all is Diego Maradona, small in size, huge in impact. Then the match delivers two moments that feel impossible because they happen so close together. First, the hand of God. Maradona jumps for a ball in the box and scores, using his hand. The referee doesn't see it clearly. The goal stands. Instant controversy, outrage, debate, anger, and Maradona later calls it a little with the head and a little with the hand of God. It becomes one of the most infamous moments in football, but only minutes later, Maradona does something that makes the world forget how to breathe. He picks up the ball and dribbles past 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. It's like the ball is magnetized to his feet. He finishes. Goal. And this one is so brilliant it gets called the goal of the century. Think about that. In the same match, Maradona creates one of the most controversial goals ever. And one of the greatest goals ever. That's why this moment is historic. It captures the World Cup's strange truth. It's not always clean, it's not always fair, but it's unforgettable. Argentina wins the tournament and Maradona becomes legend. Forever. Moment 7, 2022. Messi completes the story in an instant classic. Now jump to 2022 in Qatar. For years, Lionel Messi had everything: ball control, vision, trophies, records. But the World Cup had always been the missing piece, and everyone knew it. This might be his last chance. Argentina reaches the final against France, and what follows is not just a final. It's a cinematic roller coaster. Argentina takes control early. Messi scores. The team looks ready. Then France comes back. Suddenly it's chaos. Then Messi scores again in extra time. Argentina leads again. And then France equalizes again. The match refuses to end. By the time it reaches penalties, it feels like the whole tournament has condensed into one moment of pressure. Argentina wins. Messi lifts the trophy. And for many fans, it feels like a story completing itself. Like football giving one of its greatest artists the one prize that kept escaping. But this moment is bigger than one player. It showed how the World Cup can turn into pure drama. Momentum swings. Heroes and villains change every 5 minutes. And the final whistle doesn't just end a match. It locks a memory into history. So, those are 7 World Cup moments that changed football forever. The birth of the tournament, the silence of the Maracanã, a teenage Pelé rewriting the rules, a controversial goal shaping the future, Brazil's perfect team making football art, Maradona's match of genius and chaos, and Messi finally lifting the one trophy that completes a legacy. Now, it's your turn. Which moment do you think is the most iconic? And why? And if you could add an 8th moment to this list, what would it be? Follow for more football stories because in the World Cup, history is never finished.